Hey there. Um, the discussion on uh, Wednesday about stages of change is what I want to talk to you quickly about because these are important, and this is a reiteration of what you heard in class and help you finish the model. It was introduced in the 70s by fellow James Prochaska and Carlo Di Clemente, and they determined there were numerous changes that you go through. And again, this is going to be familiar because we already talked about this last meeting. Um, So in this case, it's viewed different venue. You may or may in your class already. So we're basically going to be covering a stage concept of how you. Um, so away we go. Stage one, pre-contemplation. The characteristics is denial, ignorance of the problem, strategy, rethink behavior, analyze yourself and your actions, uh, and assess risks of behavior. There are always some risk associated with any kind of behavior. So what I'm doing is lawful and is not harmful. During this stage, people most often are not contemplating a change. Rather, they're just in the beginnings of understanding that there's something fluky that might need to be addressed, but maybe not. And sometimes they just deny it. Nah, it's all good. And even going so far as like whatever this behavior is really not a problem. They don't understand that their behavior is mostly some aspect, and they're underinformed about the consequences of that behavior. And people that are in that stage sometimes get to a point where they begin to discover, hey, well, wait a minute, something's up here. And they kind of give up. They think, I have no control over this. So, not a stage to stay in. Hopefully, you move forward into stage two, which is contemplation. And here we have conflicted emotions. What you do is you weigh the pros and cons of a behavior change. Doesn't matter what the behavior is. And then you reach a confirmation of readiness, and you hopefully discover an ability to make a change. Now, the ability part's real tricky. And part of that is identifying barriers to changing whatever the behavior is. So people become more and more aware of the potential benefits of making a behavior change. But the costs of that really become very apparent. And it creates a sense of ambivalence about changing. There's some uncertainty there. Also, the fact that it may not be overnight, it may take years for this change to take place. Once you leave that stage, you enter into the stage of preparation, stage three. Here are the characteristics: experimenting with small changes and collecting information about the change. And there's some strategies you employ when you're in the preparation stage. Write down your goals, prepare a plan of action, as in your BIP that you should be becoming familiar with. Make a list of motivating statements, in other words, encouragement for yourself. You, during the preparation stage, you may even begin to make small changes to prepare for a larger change that you're looking for. What if you're going to quit smoking or something? Maybe you cut back one cigarette a day or whatever the case is. I think you get the picture. Or maybe you want to get healthier, so you join a health club and you start working out slowly under somebody's direction. And that leads you into stage four, action. Direction toward the goal. Direct action leading you to your goal. And you learn to reward your successes. You may even seek out social social support. You begin to take steps in the direction that you're headed. Sometimes you find that things that you had used before as an aid just don't work now. You have to readdress those things. And then now I've reached this new behavior. Woo, I've made a major gain. And guess what? The work's not over. You're entering into stage five, called maintenance. Maintenance of the new behavior. So I need to learn how to avoid temptation. And what are the strategies here? You develop coping strategies for temptation. And don't forget to reward yourself when you're successful, because you're going to have some setbacks. You're going to mess it up once in a while. Okay, so I wanted to stop eating a certain food, and for the most part you do, but then it's Friday and you're in a holiday mood because the weekend's coming and you go, I think I'll run out and get me a pizza. So, yeah, there's a little bit of a temptation there. Stay away from the pizza joints. That's that's one way to battle that. Successfully avoiding former behaviors. That's what we're talking about here. And keeping up the new behaviors. Look for ways to avoid temptation. Try replacing old habits with more positive behaviors. And reward yourself when you're able to avoid the temptation, or even if you do have a relapse and you overcome it, then reward yourself. And don't give up. Don't be hard on yourself. Remind you that whatever happened was a minor setback if it was in fact a minor setback. So it's relapse, stage 6. Remember, don't be hard on yourself. But you're going to have these. So what are the characteristics? Disappointment, frustration, feelings of failure. Don't let those take control of you. Identify the triggers that led to that relapse. Recognize what the barriers are to you being successful, and then reaffirm your goal and commitment to this change. Common occurrences, these relapses. So don't worry if you have one. If you don't have one, you're the exception to the rule. When you go through a relapse, you'll experience feelings of failure. You'll experience disappointment and frustration. You can't let that be your overriding. So don't let these failures, etc., be the guiding light for you. The key to the success for this is not to let that undermine your efforts, and maintain your self-confidence. If you do have a problem, take a real long, hard look at why it happened, what triggered it, and what can you do to avoid those triggers in the future. And all that will lead you to success. So I hope this was informative for you, and I'll see you soon in the next